Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks to all I-CMME moderator and participant. Let me introduce myself, Iik Nurhikmayati, a doctoral student at the Department of Mathematics Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. On this occasion, I will present the result of my research with the title, What are the obstacles to learning geometry? An analysis of student learning obstacle on geometry of cube and cuboid. And this research, I asked the first researcher and Prof. Darhim as the second researcher. It starts with the research background. We know that in Indonesian education, geometry is taught at all levels of education. Geometry is always the essential area in mathematics because of its connection with daily life situation. The concept of geometry can help students learn the spatial relationship and shape of objects that are very important for student success in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Despite its importance, geometry is still regarded as a problematic topic in mathematics. It's shown by student poor performance on national and international test result. Example on PISA and TIMSS. The low geometry ability of students occur due to learning obstacles, the result in sudden difficulties in solving various problems related to geometry. In the last decade, there have been many studies examining student difficulties in learning geometry. However, there are only limited articles that systematically review research trends that examine the learning obstacles, especially of cube and cuboid. But we know that cube and cuboid is important because cube and cuboid are the most common geometry shape encountered in everyday life. The next, what the purpose of this study? This study aims to identify possible obstacles to student learning in cube and cuboid. The method of this study, this research is a literature study that analyzes the result of various identical studies related to learning obstacle in cube and cuboid. The research data sources are six main kinds of literature from the Google Scholar database for the period 2013 until 2022. Qualitative analysis was carried out using open data coding through atlas.ti to identify the type of learning obstacle found in the main literature. This is the data source, the main literature. There are six the data source. The one resources 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. The result, the epistemological learning obstacle for cube and cuboid geometry learning. There are six researchers of literature that have been analyzed. Is now that are six types of learning obstacles that are included in the epistemological obstacle category. One is spatial ability obstacle, two omission of analysis, two, three operational obstacle, four concept obstacle, five procedural obstacle, and six obstacle to making conclusion. The type of learning obstacle in this category that were found that most we were operational obstacle from five researchers and the omission of analysis and obstacle to making conclusion were found at least from the main literature. Next, this is the ontogenical learning obstacle on cube and cuboid geometry learning. On ontogenical learning obstacle from the 6 researchers based on the 6 literature analyzed, it is known that there are 5 types of learning obstacle, namely 1. Incorrect order materials, 2. Special ability obstacle, 3. Unfamiliar with non-routine question, 4. Concept obstacle, and 5. Obstacle to understanding the meaning of sentence. And the most common ontological learning obstacles are unfamiliar with non-routine question and concept obstacle. Okay, the next, this is didactical learning obstacle for cube and cuboid geometry learning. There are 7 types of learning obstacle in didactical obstacle category found by 6 researchers. The type of learning obstacle are 1. Unfamiliar with non-routine question. This is the same with the ontogenical learning obstacle. And the next 2, limited learning time. 3. Unsuitable learning method. 4. Lack use of proofs. 5. Misrepresentation. 6. Incorrect order materials. And 7. Incomplete textbook. 6 of the 7 type of obstacle found by the 5 researchers, most the whom studied didactic barrier based on spatial perception abilities. The type of learning obstacle in didactical obstacle are found in the main literature, and unfamiliar with non-routine question and unsuitable learning method are the most common learning obstacle. Okay. Next, this is a cause and effect relationship on learning obstacle. Learning obstacle experienced by students, especially in studying cube and cuboid, influence each other. The causal relationship to the learning obstacle occur when the didactical learning obstacle affect the epistemological and ontogenical learning obstacle. Furthermore, ontogenical learning obstacle also affect the epistemological learning obstacle, and 3 of them influence each other. Based on this causal relationship, didactical learning obstacle become the main point in creating other learning obstacle. This relates to how the teacher presents didactic material and situation that student need. Okay, in the end, we got a conclusion. Based on the result of the analysis of 6 main literature, it concludes that 1. The type of epistemological learning obstacle that most students experience in the learning cube and cuboid geometry are operational and concept obstacle. 2. In the ontogenical learning obstacle type, the researchers found that students experience the most unfamiliar with non-routine question and concept obstacle. And 3. The type of didactical learning obstacle that most students experience in learning cube and cuboid geometry are unfamiliar with non-routine question and unsuitable learning method. And the causal relationship that occurs is the relationship between learning barrier that influence one another. Didactical learning obstacle is the main point that causes the occurrence of epistemological and ontogenical learning obstacle. Okay, is that my presentation? Thank you for your attention. And the end, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.